Good morning. Okay, so I think a couple people are just trickling in here. There was a break right before, but I think we'll go ahead and get started for sake of time. So hello, everyone. Sydney here from Hyro, and I'm thrilled to be your session host. Thanks for joining us today. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to use the chat, which I'll be moderating throughout the session. Our speaker today is Leah Catherine, Vice President of Marketing from Garcia Health. She'll share her expertise on the digital front door and why it needs to be mobile. So take it away, Leah.
Thank you so much, Sydney. Hey, before we get started, everyone, I'm just going to ask Sydney to push out a poll for us. I want to kind of get a sense of kind of where you all are on your mobile strategy or mobile experience in your organizations. So just take, a couple of seconds to answer the question, and hopefully we get enough answers we can sort of get a sense of where people are. I think we see a pretty broad range of where people sit when it comes to mobile. Some people have a very advanced mobile strategy with a customizable mobile app, and some people are just getting started. So kind of let us know where you are, and that'll help me with knowing how in the weeds to get as I'm sort of talking today. I'm going to share some insights around mobile in general and the role that it plays in the digital front door, or as we heard this morning in the kind of opening session, the front door, back door, side door, all the doors, all the digital doors, just to be conscious of Donna Roach's thoughts there on why it's so important for us to be broad-minded about talking about the digital front door. Okay, so I think it may be we haven't had enough people come in. We kicked this off right away, but we'll see if we've got results, and we can jump in and start talking. So we're going to be talking about mobile patient engagement. We're going to be talking about why mobile is a really important piece of your overall digital front door strategy. I don't think some of this is going to be particularly surprising to people, but I do find a lot of times that it's not a piece people are thinking about necessarily as much as maybe they should be. And so to illustrate kind of where the importance lies, how to be successful with that strategy, we're going to talk about some of the data that's out there, why mobile is such an important piece of it, why mobile is important from the perspective of what patients are looking for, what your mobile strategy should look like, and how an organization like Piedmont Healthcare has really executed a phenomenal mobile strategy that's been very successful at helping them to achieve some of their key goals. And we would have loved to have had Piedmont here with us today, but of course, as you all know, it is trade show season and conference season, and people's schedules are really booked up, and we just could not quite make it work from a scheduling perspective. So I hope I do as good a job as they would at sharing some of their story. So we know that mobile is critically important. It's both important from what patients are looking for in patient experience piece, but also we know that healthcare executives generally think that having a mobile presence of some kind is important, and it is important in helping them achieve their digital strategy goals. It's just a question really of, how can you be successful in that mobile strategy? What does it look like? So in a survey last year, executives rated the importance of a mobile solution. The average was about an 8 out of 10. 50% rated that as a 9 or higher. About 2/3 not only felt like mobile could help them with their patient-facing digital strategy, but also potentially with dealing with labor challenges and their staff-facing mobile strategy. So just to illustrate, when we say it's what patients want, right, it really is what patients want. Patients want an experience with their healthcare providers that is very similar to what they have in other aspects of their lives. There have been multiple surveys that have all come out at about this same level, around 60 to 65% of patients say, I would like that same experience, the same experience I have with, my dining app or my travel app or my shopping apps, right? My entertainment apps, things where In particular, I will call out something like, doing restaurant reservations, where you are getting not just the opportunity to you're sort of doing a search, you're finding a place you like, you're able to see the ratings, you pick something, you schedule it, you get messages. After that, you might get a follow-up, right? There's all kinds of components to that. That really is what people are looking for from their healthcare providers. And the majority of patients just don't feel that same obligation anymore to stay with a healthcare provider that does not provide the kind of digital experience that they want. We've seen surveys in the past like this one, where a quarter of people say, I would switch for a better experience. But we've also seen other surveys lately that have said, hey, like a third of patients left their provider last year. And the majority of them said it was, I had trouble kind of navigating my experience with my healthcare provider. I had trouble getting an appointment, and I had trouble finding the provider, and all these issues. I had trouble navigating there physically, right? Getting to the place of care and into the building and to where my appointment was. So not surprisingly, improving that experience, customer experience and digital experience is a priority both for patients and for provider organizations. And we now commonly see pretty high numbers from patients when they're asked, do you want online scheduling? Do you want digital intake? Do you want to be able to do electronic forms? Do you want electronic communications like SMS text messaging? That's just becoming sort of the standard, right? Everybody says they want those things. There's a huge number of patients, about 70%, who say having digital wayfinding significantly improves their overall patient experience, right? We know all these things are true. The question is just, how do you implement that and make sure that it is omni-channel, right? That you're providing a very consistent experience across your organization, where your website and your mobile really align and work together to drive the highest possible patient engagement. And the reason it needs to be mobile is because mobile has far outpaced desktop now for search in general. Almost everyone has a mobile phone, and now almost everyone has a smartphone. People are really looking to manage their healthcare experience in a single place. And, from looking at the data, mobile probably is the place where that should be. So what your mobile strategy really should look like is that you have a strong foundational framework that's very flexible and customizable and allows you to do all of the things you need to do, and to do that quickly and easily without having to worry about, have we done iOS and Android? Are we someone monitoring for all of the updates that happen all the time, right? Can we plug in these solutions that we have? What are the APIs or data feeds? What do those look like? So that you have a strong mobile platform that allows you to largely plug in most of what you need to do pretty quickly and easily. And if there is additional custom work that needs to be done to get you to the finish line, that the solution is open for custom development, has an open architecture, and allows you that flexibility without a negative impact on your mobile solution in terms of updates and rolling things out to the app stores. So that foundational framework really has a whole bunch of factors, right? Cloud-based, compliant, content management, analytics, monitoring for iOS, App Store, Amazon, Google updates, right? You have user experience experts who are thinking about navigation, user stories, iconography, all that stuff. And just to sort of make a point there, in just 1 month in 2022, Samsung released 32 fixes from Google and 18 from Samsung. Somebody has to be watching that for you. You do not want to be responsible for having to constantly make those updates. And you want to be able to plug in what we think of as being about the 80% of stuff that everybody needs. So every healthcare organization may have certain things that are unique. You may pick certain technologies because they're a better fit for your organization, but almost everyone has the same basic set of needs, right? There is a patient journey. There is a patient journey as it looks on a mobile device. The things that you need in there are largely the same. You want to be able to plug all of those things in based on what your sort of best choice technologies are. And then if you need to do some things on the back end, like we said, where you say, okay, well, we want to do some kind of unique food ordering experience for people who are inpatients, or we want people to be able to do, ServiceNow requests, or we have a visitor management solution that's very unique to us. We see organizations, I will give an example. Johns Hopkins has an art installation within their facility, and they wanted to have a tour of that, right? So that's a very custom thing that is very unique to them. Those are the things you can spend that last 20% on, right? Custom development, you just need somebody who will work with you. So what that looks like when we kind of get to an actual experience in an organization. Sorry, I got distracted for a second reading a question. I'll try to make sure I've got a couple of minutes to answer some questions at the end. So Piedmont Healthcare has a very robust mobile platform and mobile solution, and a pretty well-structured framework around what they want that to look like. And so we're going to just take some time here. And again, I'll try to leave some time at the end for questions or grab questions as we're going, to look at how they have implemented theirs and how they've made this piece work. That is sort of, we got all the big stuff in there, and then over time, we've added some special unique things, or we've changed out vendors to improve the experience. But because the platform is a strong foundational platform that allows them to make those changes, they've been able to do that without really looking to patients like there are big changes happening, right? It just looks like the experience improves over time. There are new features over time. For those who aren't familiar with Piedmont, it's in the Atlanta metro area and throughout Georgia. They've got about 22 hospitals, a number of urgent care centers and quick care locations, and obviously a lot of physician practices. They are facing the same kinds of challenges today that most people are facing around tight margins, staff turnover and burnout, really trying to solve some pretty big problems that are impacting their revenue. And so they've been thinking actually a lot about their digital front door and what that looks like. So early on for them, they were going through a period of fairly substantial growth and expansion, and they were finding that there was a real challenge around the wayfinding piece. So they were looking initially for a solution that would allow them to map their hospitals, the indoor complex facilities like hospitals, as well as all of the external locations and where they were. And so once they kind of got in the weeds on that and started putting that together, they realized there was an opportunity to use the mobile platform to not only map out all those locations, make them easy to find and search, but to add things like wait times and save my spot and scheduling, and really make that a more seamless experience. So when you go into the Piedmont app, Piedmont Now, what you see is this map of locations that you can refine based on type of care, and it will show you what is closest to you. Now, if you want to change the way you're searching, and you don't care about that, really what you're looking for is a certain kind of specialist, or takes my insurance, or those kinds of things, that's when you can kind of get in the weeds on their provider search and appointment scheduling. And of course, they've got portal access and bill pay and kind of all the things. And what they found was, by getting everything into the app, they were able to get people coming back over and over and over again, and using that app really as their digital front door. So for an example of kind of that flexibility that allows them to add and take away and change, right, and address critical issues, I did want to sort of call out what happened during COVID, which obviously for everyone, suddenly we have to close our hospitals and we have to close our clinics, and we need to switch to telehealth, and we need everybody to get up on MyChart. They really pushed through their app MyChart as a way to deploy video visits, and they look to expand their self-scheduling. and they were doing push notifications around, vaccine usage and things like that. These were new things they had not really focused on in the past, and they were able to stand them up very, very quickly. That did increase their MyChart usage significantly. And they were also able to increase the number of visits being scheduled through their app and payments being made through their app. So it's the flexibility that allowed them to sort of move things around and prioritize what was relevant during COVID. So since then, they've continued to expand by changing slightly their experience within their app when it comes to patient access. And I think we all know patient access really has become critically important as we've come out of the pandemic and you're trying to get people scheduling again, and revenue is tight. You really want to get all those people back in and scheduling. They went through a process of updating their entire scheduling and patient access piece. On the front end, again, to patients, it looks a little bit different. It has more features. It's a little more user-friendly. I mean, it has these great things, but it all still just looks like Piedmont's app, right? It just looks like an enhanced version of scheduling through Piedmont's app. They don't know that what the platform for it is, or which technologies are being used. They just see that the process has improved and has more options now. So as they have done that and continued to promote their mobile app, today they have about 350,000 users. They're adding a few thousand users a month, 6 million mobile sessions, and 78% of the people who use their mobile app come back over and over again. And this is where that piece that's around strategy is so important. By having all the patient-facing tools in their mobile platform, by making their digital front door mobile first, they are able to see incredibly high reuse rates, because once people are in there and they use it once and they see they can do these things, then it's like, oh, well, I have my whole healthcare journey in my hand, in my pocket. At any time, I can open up this app. I can find an urgent care, an emergency department, a quick care location. I can make a primary care appointment. I can make a specialty appointment. I can pay my bill. I can access the portal. I can get my lab results, right? I can do all those things, and I can do them all on my phone. And they have seen an increase, a 50% increase in the number of people trying to schedule on mobile. So this new sort of easier, more intuitive experience really has resulted in seeing an increase in people clicking into that physician search and looking for an appointment, trying to schedule. Right now, there's about a 20% conversion rate on the appointment booking in the app. And that's varied over the years between 15 and 30%, kind of depending on different things that were going on. But it has become a pretty key piece of their patient access strategy. So this is what that new access to care looks like. And again, one of the nice things about having a robust sort of mobile framework that you're building on top of is you can really make this or anything else look exactly the way you want it to, right? So people are able to say, find a physician, they're able to do that search, and here's my reason for the visit, and then see all the available appointments. What's really exciting is what's coming down the road, which is the ability to do that with AI. So this was a big step in improving patient access. They are looking to do things like embedding the link for the app into their appointment reminders, which we know really drives a lot of engagement on the mobile side. And what that looks like essentially is it's a deep link in an appointment reminder that when you click on it will save that to your calendar and embed a link for wayfinding to the appointment. When you click on that link, if they have your app, it wayfinds you from home to parking to the point of care. If you don't have the app yet, it will prompt you to download and then take you to your appointment wayfinding, home to parking to the point of care. So they're looking at things like that. They're looking at using their existing app for improving their staff experience by adding a single sign-on component that allows them to stay within one mobile platform and one mobile app, because all of your staff are patients and caregivers of family members and all those other things, while also providing all of those like HR tools, onboarding, training, scheduling, HR forms, requests, all of that in the same thing. So if you're already having your staff download your app because you want them to be able to help patients and recommend it to patients, and you want them to use it, now you can add that additional staff piece and hopefully make their lives a little bit easier there, right? And then finally, putting an AI assistant like Hyro on top of all of that in the app. So now you're not just going through those screens of scheduling an appointment. You can actually do the piece where you just say, I would like to find a doctor in this neighborhood who takes my insurance and is a woman and speaks Spanish and is an OBGYN, or whatever the case may be. And you could kind of run through that experience and skip those screens when you have a question about something like, where can I get my COVID vaccine, right? You get that too. So the nice thing is now we're getting into, okay, well, we did the 80%. The 80% is always changing. There's always new things in that 80% of stuff everybody needs right now. That is some of these pieces like an AI assistant, but there's also this to be determined bucket, which is the things we just don't know, right? How do we know what it will be in 2 years? We don't. So when you're thinking about your digital front door strategy and you're thinking about the mobile component to your digital front door strategy, one of the most important things is we can build the 80%, we can custom build the 20%. And when that changes and there's new things in the 80% of things we all need, we can add those in and it's really easy. I think we stood up Hyro in a day or two into an app for one of our clients. And it is, it's like that ability to be able to be innovative and forward thinking and make changes and quickly stand up new solutions so that it stays very consistent and the same across your website, your mobile experience is critical. So quickly, some of the lessons that have been learned from Piedmont and frankly from other clients that we work with, right, is how important it is to map out your patient journey, how important it is to tie your patient journey to your goals so you have a well-aligned strategy. To be thinking about that as creating a single, seamless, hassle-free experience across your entire organization where your primary entry points really are well aligned. Constantly be looking for new opportunities for deeper integrations or more cohesive user-friendly experiences. And critically to engage your staff all the time in everything that you are doing. It's just so important. So make sure that this really is part of your larger strategy, that you're thinking about this as consumer experience. So even when we don't want to call patients consumers, we want to be thinking about it as a consumer experience. We want to build on a foundational framework and not have to do that from scratch so that you can easily plug in most of what you need right off the bat. And then you can put some time into some of those custom things. But then it's easy for you to keep adding and changing over time. So I think we have 1 minute and we do have a question, which I'm going to quickly, actually coming back to what I was just saying. Okay. So, the survey that I had put up in the screen had some different stats about different things, right? And there's a question about, really are all the patients, if somebody's not really connected to healthcare, are they a patient? Or if they haven't had a healthcare experience recently, these, when you're surveying consumers and thinking about the patient experience, are we confusing consumers and patients, right? When some people may not be getting care right now and some people are. And I think it's really important. There's 2 points here that I'll make before we hop off because, we've got, or before we go into other questions, we've got like 5 minutes. The first thing is that I think of consumers as being the larger bucket. I'm going to throw this up. So if anybody wants to connect with me or send me questions later, they can. I think of consumers as being actually a larger bucket than just patients. So when I say healthcare consumers, I am thinking all people who engage with healthcare at any time. And that could be patients, visitors, caregivers, staff, really anyone who in any way is engaging with your health system. So when I'm talking about consumer experience, I'm saying, you may have visitors who only come once or twice. Somebody just had a baby, or maybe they're the person who's taking somebody for their cancer treatment. They need to be able to access information about your health system. They need things like wayfinding. They may need wayfinding, frankly, more They need to be able to look up locations and find phone numbers and do all those things. Your staff may need to be able to navigate and learn how to get around your facilities. You may need a staff experience that provides them with other information, right? You may be courting a large employer. Maybe you are in Atlanta and you want to become the preferred system. Like, here we have Piedmont in this example. You want to be the preferred system for Delta, or you're somewhere where there's a large Amazon facility, right? Those people are not necessarily active ill patients today, right? The thing that's very important about a mobile experience is it is designed for everyone. It is a big piece of your recruitment strategy around patients. We deliver the best digital experience on mobile in a mobile native solution that anybody can access and use to get the tools and information that they need. That's how you should be thinking about it. And I think that's why when Piedmont launched their initial scheduling solution, they not only saw an uptick in scheduling, they saw an uptick in new people scheduling. And most of those new people were people who were young enough to be commercially insured. It's part of your bigger strategy. And I cannot say that enough, that when we're thinking about something like mobile, it is not a standalone solution. It is really part of your large strategy and goals across your organization. Is your goal to go from 2 million lives to 3 million lives in the next 2 years? You're going to need a mobile solution, right? Is your goal to increase commercially insured patients scheduling appointments? You're going to need a mobile solution. So I think it's really important to be thinking about it that way. Okay, let's see. We have 2 more minutes. So let's see. So one of the most common questions we get is about PHI when it comes to an open mobile solution like this. And I will just quickly say something about that, which is that the other thing about mobile that's really important and why it can't just be your patient portal is because you want to have something that's accessible by everyone, where the company is taking time to somebody's asking this question. Okay, so you have a portal and you want to have people, and you want to see if you could, are you supposed to do both, or are you supposed to do them together? So the reason you can't use your portal for all the things you're doing is because you do want to be able to recruit new patients. But now we know with some of the new issues coming out from the regulatory environment, you've got to watch things like IP addresses and location awareness. So you do want to partner with a vendor who's aware of that, and ensuring that that information is handled in a HIPAA compliant way while leaving the solution open to everybody. So just keep that in mind. And on this question, I think I can take 30 seconds here really quick. If you have a digital front door solution, mobile solution like Gozio, and you have MyChart or some other patient portal, what do, right? Where we see the most success is when clients put their portal inside their app. So in fact, I will just go back so you can see what that looks like really quick as I'm talking about it, and make it possible for people to access the portal as well as everything else. So this screen on the far side is Piedmont's MyChart instance. You want people to be able to get all the portal features as well as all the other things not provided in a portal. You want it in one solution. We see a huge increase in MyChart adoption and usage when it is in a branded app that provides all the other patient-facing tools and features. Ideally, you want to be promoting one experience in one mobile solution that is the key mobile piece of your digital front door. And please feel free to follow up with me. So I had thrown up my email and my LinkedIn. If you have any other questions about those kinds of things, if you kind of want to get any resources to help you with your planning and what you're doing around your mobile digital front door, just feel free to connect with me. I think that's it. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much for this insightful session. Again, if anyone has any last minute questions, feel free to type them in the chat or email Leah directly. Leah, thank you so much. And we'll see you guys at the next session.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Bye, everybody.
Bye.